Hey, how are you? It's been a while and I have some news actually. I am going to Figma Config in about a month and yeah, it's time now, the day after Canva Create, to talk a little bit about the expectations and what I think will be announced at Figma Config in 2024. In September 2022, Figma and Adobe have announced that they will be merging to form one big product design company. And December last year, 2023, they have mutually agreed to cancel the whole merger due to no clear path to receive necessary regulatory approvals from the European Commission and the UK Competition and Markets Authority, which is, I think, business speak for they wouldn't let us, which for us designers holds the question, what is to come? So what is actually the strategy of Figma going forward without the big brother Adobe, and looking at other companies in that sector? What does the competition look like and what can we expect? So I think it's fair to say that there is way more competition in the design space, in the product design space, brand design space, than there has been a year or 2 years ago. Canva has just recently acquired Serif, the maker of the Affinity Suite, and integrated it into their own product portfolio. And of course, Adobe, the big old player, doesn't stop. So what do I think we can expect? Well, I think there is 3 major points to look at, to focus on. The first one, of course, being artificial intelligence, everything regarding AI. Now, for almost 2 years now, we have been living in a world where generative AI has been way more approachable, has been usable as a service rather than a playground for developers and AI nerds. And of course, we have a lot of new AI projects, a lot of generators popping out, and all of the big players either integrating some form of AI into their toolset or developing their own form of AI. Apple is rumored to have a collaboration with OpenAI, integrating ChatGPT into their own toolset. Adobe is going strong with Firefly, cranking out new features every once in a while, and well, it's actually looking pretty good and pretty usable already. But also Canva has just today announced that Magic Jam, how they will call their own AI features, will be a huge part of the whole Canva experience going forward. Of course, Figma does have something called FigJam AI, which helps you to use AI features inside their whiteboarding solution FigJam. So it helps you to summarize post-its and create or build templates as needed. But of course, this is only part of their product. And we have been all looking at what does Figma do in terms of AI for creation, for product design, for any kind of design features in their core Figma project. If we want to have a glimpse at what is possible and what we can expect, we can just look at tools like Relume, which has turned a Figma component set into a whole AI wireframe generator, including text generation, which lets you create websites within seconds, which is pretty amazing, I must say. So I'm really stoked to see what is going on with Figma and AI. Looking at the schedule of this year's config, we do have a whole AI track, so we can expect a lot of speakers, which usually means we can expect a lot of features or a whole new direction for Figma going forward using AI features in their creative workflow. Looking at the hints that we can find in the software today is probably the best way to get an idea, get a glimpse of what they will be announcing at Figma Config this year. And there is 2 things which really stand out and which caught my attention. The first one being the community tab on the lower left corner of your pages menu. They haven't been vocal about this and they haven't said anything in specific. But just in recent months, we have observed more and more creators looking into paid templates, paid plugins, options to monetize the Figma community. And of course, we have been observing Figma cranking out new features, basically giving creators more access to these paid functions and integrating plugins and widgets much deeper into the whole Figma experience. While makers like Adobe or Canva or even Envato or FreePic have been much more advanced with their paid features, so their payment process, their premium features are way more integrated into the core experience of these products. This is something that Figma could be becoming much better or much more focused at. So for Config 2024, I would predict that these paid community features, that this whole community marketplace will become much more of an important feature for Figma, and that we will see much more opportunities for creators to monetize their own products. The other thing that I think is super interesting is actually a feature that spawned last week for many Figma users without being announced or without Figma being vocal about what they are doing and why. I am, of course, talking about the Figma curated libraries. So if you have been looking at your assets panel in any Figma file, no matter if you have a library integrated or not, you will see something called Figma curated libraries with a couple of templates ready to use. Don't worry about it. You have never actually integrated these libraries into your Figma files, and neither have one of your teammates. These just appeared for a lot of users. And Figma hasn't said anything about this, so they have not been announcing this, they haven't commented on this. Even their community moderators in the Figma support forum do know nothing about it. It seems that this is a little bit of an experiment and probably a new direction for Figma to go. The interesting part, aside from Figma curated libraries and Figma offering their own components, which would be big, obviously, the actual interesting part is what happens if you use these components. If you just pull in one of the assets into your design file, you will see that they are not using any components, they are not using any styles, they are not using any variables. So basically, you get a blank artboard with no dependencies. And this is something that actually for creators is not possible today. If you want to create your own library, the only way of getting components or templates into your own file is by creating components in your library and creating those dependencies, which can be a little bit cumbersome in your design process, especially if you are starting from scratch or you are starting from a wireframe perspective. I will do another video about this and how we are approaching components, but if this is actually a thing, if we have these templates going forward that we can use without components, this will be really interesting for the design process for many of us. So this is probably something that they will announce: curated libraries and another way of approaching templates, of approaching components. Of course, all of these are just my little predictions here, so if you have any opinions, if you have any insights or your own forecast at what you think will be happening at Figma Config this year, please let me know in the comments below. And if you are joining the Figma Config conference in person in San Francisco 2024, also hit me up, let me know, let's meet in person. I would really love to see you, to meet you, maybe have a coffee or something, or just a quick chat. And I will see you at Config 2024. Looking forward to it. Bye.